Hello my dear friends and welcome back to another Star Wars news update. So the Book of Boba Fett is less than 1 day away and we're now closer than ever to the return of the galaxy's most feared bounty hunter, or should I say, the crime lord.
I'm the crime lord now.
In today's video my dear friends, we have a few bits to talk about that have dropped in the last couple of hours as we get ready for what's set to be a massive series that Robert Rodriguez believes is going to shake up the Star Wars franchise. I will reiterate that I will be doing full episode breakdowns every single Wednesday, with the first one obviously being tomorrow. So with that said, we're going to begin with the final teaser trailer for the Book of Boba, which was not posted to YouTube or Twitter, but I found this on Star Wars Leaks. It's a new TV promo spot and contains new footage and also some new lines of dialogue, so I'm going to break it all down. It opens with a gorgeous shot of sunrise over the Dune Sea as the camera pans towards Jabba's palace. And on the subject of visuals, seriously guys, this show is going to be pure eye candy. We're getting the most HD look at Tatooine than ever before. And while it's true we did spend some time there in The Mandalorian, I think the Book of Boba Fett is going to bring some even more spectacular shots of the desert planet. So then we hear Boba Fett say, "Power, riches, respect. Everyone is watching," and I feel like this line is suggesting that word has gotten out that Boba Fett survived, and now that he's more powerful ruling from Jabba's palace, the fearsome reputation that he already had is going to be ramped all the way up. Boba was already known across the galaxy's underworld, and just the mention of him was enough for some people like Han Solo to be absolutely terrified. His name alone meant something, and so when he fell into the Sarlacc pit and was assumed dead, word got out pretty quickly, and the legend surrounding who he is was probably amplified as well. And we actually see this in the Mandalorian Season 2 finale post-credit scene when Bib Fortuna says to Boba, "I heard rumors that you were dead." So now that Boba is back and has power, riches and respect, as he says, word is spreading and everyone is watching, waiting for him to make the next move. And next up in this teaser is a different shot of the two female Twi'leks in that bar, the yellow one, and of course, Jennifer Beals' character. Now what's great in this shot, as well as throughout this teaser, is the variety of droids that we're going to be seeing. In this shot we get a yellow astromech who looks very similar to R4M1, an astromech from the Clone Wars, and in the background on the left hand side we see a protocol droid. And once again we see that old guy in the background who, as a lot of people point out, looks very much like Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now obviously this isn't Obi-Wan, because at this point in the timeline he's been dead for 9 years, unless of course this is a flashback, but even in that case, other than the dark cloak, the clothing does not match his usual robes. But you never know, maybe they're throwing this guy into all of the teasers and trailers for a reason, and if it is a flashback to old Ben, they've definitely got someone who looks exactly like him. But I just think this is a regular citizen and not a flashback. Next up we see another astromech droid being toppled over by a passing speeder, and as you guys know, droids are one of my favourite aspects of Star Wars, so if they're going to introduce us to new ones in this show, that is just the cherry on top. I should also mention this incredible shot of Fennec Shand cocking her weapon. She is a formidable assassin, and I think the Book of Boba is going to show us her true capabilities. She was powerful in the Bad Batch and proved that she can hold her own given her background as someone who grew up on the streets and had to learn how to survive by herself. But the Book of Boba Fett is much later in the timeline, and the Mandalorian proved to us that she's definitely still got it. As Boba's right-hand person, I think she's going to do him proud, but there are doubts from many in the fandom as to whether or not she is truly going to remain loyal to Boba or not. Ming-Na when teased that they do have differences in ideas of how to rule correctly. Fennec likes the idea of instilling fear in people. She does say that fear is a surer bet. And Boba Fett on the other hand wants to rule with respect, but again, that could just be his words and not necessarily reflective of his actions. But this difference of opinion might lead to a falling out, although I suspect there will be no betrayal. Maybe briefly, but I think the two will inevitably end up back together. So finally we hear Boba say, "I'm the crime lord now." We've heard this across other teasers, but as a few of you pointed out, his voice sounds much more grainy, crackled and quiet. But still, it's an unusual way to address himself, especially given what he's trying to achieve. I'm very curious and there are many questions we need answers to, but at this point my dear friends, we're just a matter of hours away, and we will get all the answers we seek very shortly. It's now been well over a year since we last got live action Star Wars content, and while the Bad Batch and Star Wars Visions were awesome, this is the stuff we live for as Star Wars fans, the meat and potatoes of the franchise, the live action content. By this time tomorrow, we're going to have so much to talk about, and I will be breaking down every nook and cranny in this series. Just like most of you, I'll be rewatching every single episode at least 3 or 4 times, taking in the visuals and every big surprise that comes in our direction. After the incredible end to The Mandalorian Season 2, and then the relatively bumpy year for Star Wars that followed, Star Wars finally feels alive again. We have something huge to look forward to every single Wednesday, and this show has the potential to be the greatest of all the Star Wars series so far. And if they play their cards right, it may even surpass The Mandalorian. Now finally, my dear friends, just a word on 2022. We speak a lot about the shows, especially given how many are coming our way in 2022, but we should also talk about gaming, because it is going to be a big year for Star Wars. It's been a bit of a rocky road for Star Wars games as of recently, especially given that Star Wars Eclipse may never even happen, but there are 2 things we can look forward to in 2022. LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, which should be released in the spring, and also Jedi Fallen Order 2 being announced either at Celebration or in July, as EA have promised. Now speaking of LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, we have a new teaser trailer. This one was posted to Instagram, and it features Boba Fett and a bantha on Tatooine, and it's great news because it's a promotional for LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga game, which hints that it is coming soon. As we know, it keeps getting pushed back, but it's looking like development is going really well. And just to add to this, Boba Fett is being voiced by Daniel Logan, young Boba Fett from Attack of the Clones, who also voiced Boba in the Clone Wars. Now given that Daniel Logan is involved in Star Wars again, I really hope he appears in the Book of Boba Fett flashbacks to a younger Boba. Obviously not that young given that Daniel Logan is in his 30s, but maybe flashbacks to Boba Fett before the Imperial era, so between the Clone Wars and the original trilogy when he was a young adult. That would be phenomenal, especially in a show that is set to be all about Boba's life, his past, his present, and where he's going. And also Daniel is a super fan and so passionate about his character. I think it'd be amazing if he could don the armor and reprise the role as a younger Boba, or should I say a young adult Boba. I'd love to know your thoughts of this and everything we spoke about in the comments down below. Given that the Book of Boba Fett is just a matter of hours away, how are you guys feeling? Are you excited? Or are you so overwhelmed you're not even ready for this? I'm kind of in that camp. I'm so excited that I can't believe it's so close. So if you enjoyed this one, my dear friends, please be sure to leave me a like, subscribe if you're brand new, and a massive welcome if you are. And thank you all so much for helping me to reach 88,000 subscribers. This is the way to 100k. I appreciate each and every one of you. And if you want more videos not found here on YouTube, then please consider becoming a patron. The link is down there, and you also get access to our Discord server. But until tomorrow with the full episode breakdown, my dear friends, I'm Star Wars Meg. May the Force be with you, always.